Good morning, students. Yesterday we had discussed the features of democracy, and first feature we have discussed that the final decision making power must rest with those who are people who are elected people, means in the rulers. So the decision power is with the ruler. We have discussed this. Simultaneously, we are discussing here different countries' government system who claim themselves government, and accordingly the reference of the government we are going to discuss. So now another characteristics or feature of the democratic is here that we will discuss in the form of electoral competition. Electoral competition means when election take place and that competition come up with different parties in the country. So here we have an example of China. So like China, election are regularly held every 5 year, means for half of the term is that it is this country is following the term of democratic system. So 5 year and electing the country's parliament called Renmin Debego. Uh, Debayo or Dui means the name is that National Congress or People's Congress, and the National People's Congress has power to appoint the president of country. It has nearly 3,000 members. See, it is only one party. There is no any different party, and the member of the party are 3,000 elected from all over China, means all segment of society, like all member, you can say people are the member of that. People, some members are elected by the army. Now you can see here army interference is there in the party. So some members are of army, and before contesting election, a candidate needs to approval the Chinese Communist Party. Means if a person is a candidate of that election, he must be a member of the Chinese Community Party. Means this is the name of the party. Only those who are member of these Chinese Communist Party or eight smaller parties elite to it were allowed to contest election held in 2006. So, sorry, 2002 or 3. The government is always formed by the Communist Party. Means the system never changes in China. Always it remains same. Party is same. Sometimes the member can be increase and decrease, but all these, you can say, communist army, the role play is regular. So since its independence in 1930s, Mexico hold election after every 6 years to elect its president. Now another reference is of that Mexico. Mexico, you understand where is Mexico? If you know about Americas, so North America is divided into three, that is Mexico, US, and Canada. The Mexico hold election every 6 years as elected in is president, and the country has never been under a military or dictator's rule. Means like the country has never been under the military or dictator rule, because you can see here when you read whole chapter you will understand yourself what the chapter is saying. Means they are claiming themselves that they are democratic country. Means it never come under military or dictator rule, but until 2000 every election was won by only one party. See what is the big difference is that party is PRI, means Institutional Revolutionary Party. It can be like right IRP, but it is written reversely. We will not argue with that particular logic behind that. So opposition party did not contest election. We have seen neither is means chapter is saying neither is there any dictatorship or army rule, but the continuously party was contesting election, but never managed to win, but never managed to win. PRI was known as to use many dirty tricks. Dirty tricks, you can understand what happens in the election time. Some bribes are given forcefully, the people make ready to cast the vote. All those who are employed in government offices had to attend this party. Means everyone is under the order of government. Mean everyone had to follow the order of the government. Means even the officers are also officers employment, government employment, employed people are also attend this meeting. Teachers of government school used to force parents to vote for PRI. See the condition of, means education is under the control, media is under the control, offices are under the control. So how we can say democracy is there? When we see our country in democracy, people are free to express their ideas or views. But here there is no any kind of situation. So, media largely ignored an activities of opposition political parties except to criticize them. Sometimes the polling booths are shifted from one place to another in last minute, which made it difficult for people to cast their vote. Means suppose some people the behind policy you can understand if are they are ready for particular candidate influence of that one. So at the meantime, at the peak time, the booth have been shifted, which made it difficult people to cast their vote. PRI spent a large sum of money. Another characteristic is that of that party, large sum of money they spent. Large sum means as money more money is spending over the election campaign, so means something is wrong. Honesty is not there. So campaign for candidate should be considered the election describes our example of people electing their rulers. Means this characteristics which we read earlier ki people elect their ruler. This term cannot go in that particular reference. So, reading these examples, we get a sense that we cannot, there are many problems, that there are many problems uh, here. So in China, the election do not offer people any serious choice. They have to choose ruling party, the same candidate approved by it. And can we call this choice? Means here people are not having choice. In Mexican example, people soon seem to really have a choice, but in practice they had no choice. There was no way of ruling party rule defeated uh, even if the people were against of it. There are no fair election. So we have seen election free and fair we are discussing here, free and fair electoral. So how you can go through the discussion where the free and fair election taking place? Nowhere. So we can thus add the second feature of our understanding democracy: holding election of any kind of it sufficient. The election must be for real choice between political alternatives, and it should be possible for person use the choice to remove the existing rulers and if they wish so. But democracy must be based on free and fair election where those currently in power have a fair chance of losing. It means understand these lines. Firstly, free and fair election should be there. Another is that the people who are in ruling they are getting chance to losing the election. Means definitely if first party is winning, second party has to leave the seat. So we shall find more about democratic election in chapter 4 where the full chapter is on that particular base. So now another characteristic is there: one person one vote one value, because in all it is the demand of democracy that In the last chapter, we read about how the struggle for democracy was linked to demand for universal adult franchise. Universal franchise, you understand, the people who are 18-year-old, they have right to vote. So, except almost all over the country, this particular system is accepted by all over democratic country. We are not talking about other government, but the country which they claim themselves it is democratic, they must have this universal adult franchise. Yet there are many instances of denial of equal rights too. Like after that, what we get, we have many references which in which we get the people are not getting their equal right. What right? Like in Saudi Arabia, women don't have right to vote. This term we have discussed. Like in Muslims or in Islam countries, only the men are having all rights. Women are not having any rights. Estonia is another one. The country has made citizen rules in such a way that people belong to Russian minority is difficult to get right to vote. Estonia is one of the country where Russians are living. If Russians, they are not getting right because they are in number of minority. Only majority people have right to vote. So you can see here in the two sentences. Another one is Fiji. Fiji is one of the country that electoral system is such that vote of an indigenous Fiji has more value than of the Indian Fijian. Means in Fiji, if any country is living, suppose Indians are living there, they will not have the same value of casting the vote. They will having less value. Suppose in our country, if our government denies that how many are the foreigners and they don't have right to vote, so what will happen? Automatically alienation means they will not feel any kind of security. So democracy is based on the fundamental principle of equality that give us the third feature of democracy. Means in a democracy each adult, take care of the word, each adult citizen must have one vote, one, and each vote must have one value. Means one person, one vote, one value. So we shall read more about this in the next segment. So till here we have learned three characteristics. First we have read that particularly the ruler should have the power of making decision. First characteristic. Second is that election should be free and fair. Third is that every vote has having each value one value. So till here you try to read the chapter and understand. Thank you. Have a nice day.